The following program contains language, images, and/or subject matter that may be objectionable to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Direct from Albany, New York, it's time for the New Media Zone. With your hosts, Ed and Dave. And now your hosts, Ed and Dave.
Hello and welcome to the New Media Zone, and Dave here, and Dave with you, doing a special Class of 1980 show because there's no films in the theaters. This is a show we're going to talk about. We graduated 40 years ago. June 20th, 1980.
Wow.
I know for many years we smudged our ages, but
You can't smudge your age when you got one of these.
you have the quarantine growth there.
I do.
Very full.
It is full and white in spots. Apparently not on the sides, but just very white here. And who cares? Who cares? It's retirement caveman beard. Retirement caveman COVID beard.
Right. So what we're going to do, we're going to take, we got a lot of pictures, we got some videos, we have memories. We don't know if this is going to be one or two shows as we start, but we're just going to let it rip here. We're going to go back in time, a time you apparently don't remember too much of.
I don't.
As you were looking through the yearbook here, though, you came up with a couple of stories.
I did.
And you said you had no harassment stories,
No.
and you have one you're going to tell later.
Oh, it's not. Well, that wasn't really a harassment story. That was just a vicious attack for some reason out of the blue.
Well,
I understand that one.
I had a few of those, too.
All right.
Yeah, generally not bullied, but there's stories of bad behavior by these, in quotes, alumni of ours. I guess they were alumni. Their actions were in question here.
They graduated, but they weren't too bright.
So where did you, let's start with, well, before we start, let's draw the viewers in with a memory. We'll start at the end, and then we'll go back to the beginning.
Okay.
You did have a couple of yearbooks that you brought down.
Do from early days. This is from 74, 75. And then the actual, that's a different school, obviously. And this is the actual yearbook of our graduating class. Here, I'll read that. There you go.
It's called the Rougeteer for some reason.
It's a what?
What on the side? What was it called?
Oh my God, yeah. Rougeteer? What?
Disclaim. Oh, well, a couple things as we start the show. Well, there's so much excitement here. Where do I start?
Get going.
The first thing, we have to dedicate the show to the producer.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Jim Moore from our class, who produced all of the shows we've done, and we'll talk about later on, we'll get into that, what we're doing here, and why we've been doing this for pretty much 40 years.
Yeah.
But we got into it mainly from him, and because of you, we got it on TV. So we'll go into that later.
Okay.
But
Once again, something I vaguely remember. I just remember a popcorn popper on my head.
Right, that's
about it.
our first show.
Oh, okay.
Let's start at the end of our graduation, though. You have the yearbooks. Do you have your yellow Class of 80 shirt, Dave?
No.
You don't have this?
No.
All the names are, I don't know why I have it, actually.
I don't know either.
I think the last couple months of high school were okay, but other than that, as I look back, it's pretty much a nightmare.
Oh, yeah, there I am down there.
Dave, I thought that it was nice printing on there. They got all 520 names or whatever.
That's impressive.
It was right on there.
I would never have worn this. But it's a good thing to keep. It's a keepsake. The moths have not gotten to this.
No,
You kept it in a special place.
I kept it at my special T-shirt area.
T-shirt area. All right. Can I put this down now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, put it. I'll put it back in the bag here
Put it
because
back
we
in the
have
bag.
other treats coming out.
Oh,
later.
that was a treat, was it?
I guess that's what it was.
Okay.
Also, we had a little trouble putting this show together because what we've done throughout the years, Media Zone is a movie show
Right.
where we look at the movies, but many times the high school years would come up on the show, and we would throw out the actual names of our fellow students. And a lot of people got a kick out of them. We'll be doing that the Rissler story again, and Diane would get a kick out of the stories.
What's the story? Is there a Rissler story? A specific Rissler story?
Sort of story.
Who said it? You?
We both did. We
Did
both
we?
commented on it, and she gets a kick out of it. And
I only remember. The only thing I remember about. I mean, I know she had the sister.
Mhm.
And they were twins.
Right.
But for some reason, Diane was the one that I liked.
Well,
I thought she was gorgeous.
this is a time that why don't we just jump ahead and
Okay.
do the story, which is this.
Okay.
Just the basic story. They were twins.
Yes.
And this was apparently Colony Central's answer to who do you like better, Ginger or Mary Ann? Because some people like Sue
Uh-huh.
and some people like Diane. Now they were twins.
Yes.
They weren't exactly alike.
Right. You could tell the difference.
You could.
There was a difference.
But they had different personalities.
Yes.
Too.
Yes.
So we always did that. Talk
I
about.
believe I sat next to Diane in one of my science classes. It may have been biology. I don't know what it was about her. I liked her. I just thought she was a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Yeah, always liked Diane. So,
They
and I remember bumping into her sister, I think, who worked for the state government many, many, many years later. But I remember seeing her sister a few times, and we chatted ever so briefly. Of course, she had no clue who I was because I was not in the Sue fan club. I was in the Diane fan club. No, it's not. It's not like I did not like Sue.
Yeah, but
I just didn't know Sue. I
Yeah.
knew Diane.
Right.
And I always liked Diane, especially from biology. So,
But as I looked through the yearbook,
Mm-hmm.
there seemed to be a bunch of other twins
I never
in there.
I
Did you study your yearbook
I did
carefully for this
I didn't-
assignment?
No. As I said, pre-production, did not know there was an assignment. I was only told to find yearbooks, and that's what I did, not to go through them and be mentally traumatized.
So there were other twins, but it was this thing with which one do you like better, Diane or Sue Rissler? And you had to make a choice there, apparently. Now, as we said, Diane and Sue numerous times here, we've mentioned everybody's names throughout the years, but within the past couple of years, there have been incidences that have come to light and deaths, which make it more sensitive, some of
Right.
our stories. So what we've decided to do is tell the stories. There are one or two things I will not mention any name.
Okay.
It's too sensitive.
Okay.
But our editor on this show, because I have too many other shows to edit, Bob Bouchot, I trust him. He's going to take the names out where appropriate.
Okay.
Okay. I can't, I have to say some of the names so you'll know who I'm talking about. And if they have to be bleeped, So that's how we're going ahead with this show here.
Ooh. Sounds like we're treading on some thin ice here.
All lighthearted stories.
Are they? Yes. Well, I don't have any horrible things, so.
Also, a disclaimer, these were the 70s when the language was a little different. And, thoughts about certain people and ethnic and all this. It was a different time. So some of that's might have to be cut out too. But the idea is I'm going to do the best to relay the idea with some decorum. And then Bob, if he feels needed, is going to edit. That's how we're approaching this show.
I'm glad you have faith in Bob. I don't know him well enough.
Now I was thinking we're going back to Sand Creek here, which was 74 to 75.
Right.
Now apparently there were a lot of elementary schools coming together. I was in Maywood.
Yes.
You were in Roselleville.
Correct.
And then I asked some folks on Facebook where did they come from, and we have Colony Village.
Oh, I went there.
Did you go there?
I went there for that may have been like kindergarten or something. I don't know. But I remember Colony Village for 1 year, and then Roselleville.
Was
thereafter.
Colony Village on Central Ave
Yes.
by Jim? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Shaker Road, Saddlewood, Forest Park, Veeder, and West Albany.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, coming from Maywood, where there were maybe one or two bad apples or whatever you want to call them, a couple of bad kids,
All
and
right.
even they weren't all that bad. But something happened when you throw all of these schools in together. Did you have one or two bad kids or more?
In Roselleville?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember Roselleville used to be basically across the street from my house on Central Avenue, the old building.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, and I've relayed this story to many people who have since said to me, that's just, you're lying, that's not true. I'm telling you, it's the truth. What they used to have was these underground tunnels. Where you,
It is the truth.
Central Avenue, the main thoroughfare,
Mm-hmm.
in the day, they had these underground tunnels where you would walk to school if you lived within a certain area. And I was close enough. You'd walk up your street to Central Avenue. There'd be this big kind of like, I don't know, what would you call it? Just an entryway.
Almost
cement.
like a bunker,
Yeah.
a cement bunker.
And you would walk down the stairs, under the street, and up the other side. And that's how I got to that school, I think, for like grade 1 through 5. So I think Colony Village was kindergarten. 1 through 5 was that school, which they then tore down and built another one near Colony High, which I only went to for 6th grade. But the thing about the underground tunnels was, it was a haven for shenanigans. It was a haven for a good beating. You're gonna take a licking because them light bulbs up top, they break. and the thugs like to hang out in the dark. So what you did was at the top of the stairs, you stood there, you took a couple of deep breaths, and then you went as fast as you could. Sometimes that was a mistake because they trip you and you'd slide face first across the cement floor, and then a good kick in here and there. And then they'd laugh as you walked out the other side bleeding. But it was difficult. And then they finally sealed those up.
Right. Where were yours? Which school were
That
you
was
going?
Roselleville, which was basically, I don't know if you remember where the Kentucky Fried Chicken
Yes.
is. Right there. That was the
Okay.
building.
Because the Colony Village had the tunnels.
Okay.
And also Maywood had the tunnels, the ones I went through and suffered with the broken glass above in the bunker. And there was some door on the side. I don't know where that went. That was frightening. And the kids would carry on down there.
Oh, yeah.
Although even as bad as that was, which wasn't that bad, it paled into comparison to what happened in Sand Creek, which we'll get to. But I'm glad you mentioned the tunnels. And they had big metal grates
Yes.
on the front.
Yep.
And I would shoot Super 8 films. And I shot a Frankenstein one around the tunnel. I put blood all over the tunnel. Someone got killed there. And we were done. We wrapped up. We went home. Then we got our bikes out. We come down. The cops are out there examining the blood on the tunnel. So
They sent it to the lab and found out it was corn syrup
Right.
with red food coloring.
So that's a shame. I don't have any pictures, though, of the tunnels, but they did close those up. I'm wondering what's under there. Is that tunnel still under Central Ave?
Just want to know who thought that was a good idea.
It was so the kids, there was no traffic of any kind in the 70s, but they thought it was a good idea for kids to go under the ground and get beat up.
Instead of getting
By the thugs.
struck by the occasional vehicle that would come by. Oh, well.
Okay, we're going to take a look at the movies and TV shows and the songs. You'll be going over some. Maybe we'll split them up.
Okay.
That's coming up. But right now we're back in 1974, Dave.
Are we?
We're going into this new school, and we're thrown in with all these new people. Now, I was a quiet kid in Maywood, but towards the end, I had a lot of friends, and birthday parties and Halloween parties, and all the friends would come over. If anybody knows what happened to Mark Hubbard and Mike Pulaski, right in, because they seem to have disappeared. And so you're going into this Sand Creek, and it was scary, Dave. Were you scared going in there? Or...
Only, I think I was slightly intimidated by the fact it was the first time that you had to go like to different classes. It was always one class, one teacher, all day. And then now you got like 7 different teachers, 7 or 8 period, whatever it was. And that's the only thing I didn't like. And what I also didn't like is I remember the first year was my lunch period was like at 1:30. Some weird late. It was like lunch, one class, go home. By the time you got to your 4th or 5th period, you're starving. You can't concentrate. All you hear is everyone's stomachs grumbling. And that was it. So that's the one that I didn't like. And it was just weird because it was a big square.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was just this big, like how many floors? Was it 2 or 3?
Yeah, I think it was 2.
And it was just this big square. And downstairs, I think, were the science labs or whatever. But yeah, that's all I seem to recall.
It seemed like a very cheap, like prefab diner almost set up. It didn't seem as sturdy as Colony. And it seemed like cheap, and the rooms seemed dirty for some reason. Did it seem like...
Jeez, you have such vivid memory. I don't remember. I'm lucky I remember going there at all. You're talking about level of dirt.
One thing I remembered before going to Sand Creek, we were instructed to bring some things with us, which they do today. You have to pick up your crayons and whatever.
Okay.
Do you remember being told you had to go get a jock?
Yes. Wow. All right, yeah. Yep.
It was a very odd thing. It was a jock you were supposed to wear in this gym class you were supposed to take.
Yep.
It was supposed to protect from balls being thrown, I guess. And you were required to wear your jock.
Yes.
Not Jock Ewing from Dallas, who would come a few years later. But. And speaking of the showers, this was a whole new experience, Dave.
It was.
Did you have any bad times in the showers?
Not until I was about 38.
Oh, okay.
Bad times in the showers. It was. I don't know if my memory is even accurate, but it wasn't like it was a main section with like 4 shower heads sticking out. It was in there, it was in the back. But it was all open. But you would walk in and you go to the right, there's a shower head. You go to the left, there's a shower head. I just remember taking those showers and thinking, oh, this is uncomfortable. And even more uncomfortable was the physical ed teachers making it known to you that you had to take the shower. You couldn't bypass the shower. Your winky was coming out, and you were taking that shower. And no matter how shy or inhibited you may be, you're taking the shower. So I remember, going in and everyone and the teacher walking back and forth, making sure everyone's in the shower. That was a little weird to me.
We didn't really go over the stories, but that was exactly what I have written down here.
Was it?
There was one odd teacher, and it was what you said, you had to take this shower. Now, I asked my wife, did they make you take the showers after the gym? No, they didn't over there.
No? Wow.
Now, I don't know if it was this one teacher, which you said you had.
Yes.
I think it was this one teacher's own special rule.
Could be.
Because he went up and down those showers, making sure everybody was going in the shower.
He went back and forth like it was the military. Certain walkabout, where like his hands were behind him,
right,
walking back and forth, just making sure you did everything that was required by him.
Now, if that wasn't bad enough, it seemed like after he checked to make sure everybody was in there, had their showers, he went in the office, and for some reason, the gym teacher's office has had a giant glass panel in a circular area, and he seemed to travel to like certain aisles, which maybe were his favorites, so he could see them coming out of the shower.
Bob?
It did seem like he had his favorite aisles, though. And this was a terrible experience when you're going from the nice Maywood school with all your friends. And very early on in the gym class, there was a big ruckus. There was like 2 aisles of showers and that terrible wooden seat in between where everybody set their bare asses on. And then there were, luckily it was cut off. The showers were only there for the people in that aisle.
Right.
So luckily you didn't have to see the people down a ways.
Yep.
But I heard a big ruckus coming down a couple aisles. So I got to see what the heck's going on down there. I go down, they're making fun of this kid down there. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking, it's one of my friends from Maywood.
Oh, no.
Michael.
Oh!
And he's in there, and they're making fun of him because he has a big black hairy bush. Which they were...
There are only so many times that I'm going to tell Bob you may want to edit some of this out.
Right.
But you know what? I'm not saying it, so you go ahead. I'm
Right.
just going to have a sip here. Go ahead. Try not to say something that's going to make me choke on this.
It's very, shocking. It was shocking to turn the corner and see one of your old friends from Maywood there naked for one thing, and then being harassed because of he was a little premature.
He's a little advanced.
Right.
He was advanced.
Right.
Okay.
Most of the people were not as advanced, apparently. Luckily, I don't remember people making fun of each other's organs.
I don't either. I don't remember.
I think they stayed away from that.
Yeah, we must have all been at least average for that age.
Right.
Except for the Thatchery of Mr. Ruth.
Oh
God. I never heard that one.
Those bad stories from those showers, bringing back your memory, Dave. You had the same memory, though. I didn't bring it up, of the teacher walking back and forth.
Oh, yeah, none of this. We haven't practiced any of these stories beforehand.
No, other than we've told some of them throughout the years.
Right.
I don't believe I ever told them.
No.
I don't think we told that one before.
No.
Now, I'm sitting there in 7th grade homeroom early on.
Okay.
And this refers to a novelty hit of the day, this story. I'm sitting there, and next to me is Candy.
Okay.
She's sitting there and talking about her activities on the weekends.
No going. Bob, get ready.
And she is talking about all her friends are having a party, and they all got naked and running through the streets of the neighborhood.
I get it.
The streak.
Ray Stevens?
Ray Stevens, the streak, was being relayed right in my, I didn't know that it was.
Oh, yes, they call him the streak. Look at that, look at that.
But there, interesting story from 7th grade.
Wow. And she was cute.
Yeah, Candy, very cute. And, we've told this many times, but it bears repeating, Dave. Bear. We had a guy in our class, Dave. Right? You never witnessed this, did you?
I don't think so.
No. He would be in the science class. I remember this one. I couldn't get down as low in the old show, but maybe I can here. Oh, I can do it here. He would get down on the table and put his chin right on the table and put his hands up, and he would be like a spider or something. And he would walk along and he would go, "Ah, la 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 la, ah, la 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 la, ah, la 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 la." We don't know why. We don't know why. It was funny. We don't know why he did that.
I never saw him do that.
Often I would just want to mind my own business and try and get through the day.
Right. I was just going to say, you just want to get to school. Even sometimes the bus was not the most fun place to be on. So if you could get the trip over, there was a sigh of relief when you got off the bus, and then the hell day started, and you just wanted to get to class and do what you got to do and get home. So go ahead.
Did you have any bad stories on the bus while we're talking about
People
the...
just throwing stuff from the back of the bus. I had a bus driver that was brutal. He used to, if the kids got out of hand, he would pull off the side of the road and run down the aisle screaming at him and threatening to beat the crap out of him. I don't remember who this guy was, but he kind of had an Elvis look to him. Had the hair slicked back. But he was, if you got out of line, yeah, he was stopping that bus. He didn't care, which I guess was kind of a good thing.
Yeah, in the old day, you could beat up the kids and slap them around.
Oh.
That you can't do today.
I don't remember what class it was or what year it was. I remember getting hit in the face by a teacher throwing it was an art teacher. I was talking in class to someone, and I saw something go whizzing past my face, and I looked, and as I turned this way, a heavy sponge doused in water clipped me right in the face, chipped a tooth.
Oh, God.
But she was mad because I was talking in class. But I don't remember what grade that was.
Huh.
It wasn't high school. Definitely not high school.
You can't do that today.
No, you can't.
There's too many phones. We didn't have phones, remember, back then, where people can pull out phones and record what's going on.
Right.
As long as we're on the bus thing, though, another Dave story.
Uh-oh.
This was a gem. Fun riding the bus. We had the buses, and it was usually lucky, very high back seats.
Yes.
So what Dave would do at the beginning, when he was picked up in the morning, was hock up a loogie.
I was just going to say this! Oh, my God! I was just going to say this story.
This story? Or did you have one of these? Or this?
I don't think it was him.
No.
But go ahead. Let's see if this is the same.
All right. He
Oh, my God.
Hock up the loogie on the high seats.
Yep.
And he would let it
Drip down.
To the end. And right before we got to school, when it was full chunk, he would take that and throw it up in front. Poor victim. I always sat behind Dave.
That's smart.
But
he's really not getting a good reputation here.
There's more to come.
No, come on.
Poor.
Yes, I remember someone doing that, but what they would do is hawk the loogie up and then just see how far down it would hang and swing back and forth when the bus would take turns, all that kind of stuff.
Was that on the seat or the ceiling?
Wherever they could get it to stick.
Okay.
Tried for the ceiling. Sometimes that was a little too high, but yeah. The good old days. I don't like this show.
Is it bringing back bad memories?
I just remember, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
The thing is, though, I think the last couple of months were pretty good, where we all got together. I really didn't know you until that library class, or whatever we were doing in there, study hall.
Right.
And Jim Moore and Dave Stotts and a few others became friends there right at the very end, and I'm sticking to this thing here. These, by the way, are from the 20th reunion we had.
Oh, is it?
I grabbed a couple of these.
Okay. Just say we'll be picking it up in the next show.
The New Media Zone has been a Cable 2000 production.